Our hot housing market is only heating up as we enter spring.
And this season, we could be seeing more millennial home buyers than before. Some people in the market are going to great lengths to buy a home right now. And here to explain all of it is Zillow senior economist Aaron Terrazas and real estate agent Via Williams. It's great to have both of you here.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
So, Aaron, what does the spring market look like for buyers and sellers in Western Washington?
So we know it's been a competitive fall and winter. It's going to continue being a very competitive spring. Buyers who were unsuccessful the past couple of months are still in the market. They're lingering longer than they ever have been before, in part because inventory is so tight. So they're going to be competing with the normal rush of spring home buyers who come out. So it's going to be continue being a very hot market, we expect.
Well, let's talk about this inventory issue, because this has sort of been on repeat for, I don't know, the past year and a half now.
Yeah.
I mean, sellers know they can get a great price for their house. Why aren't they selling their house?
You're right. Kind of inventory has been declining now for 3 consecutive years. It's down 20% over the past year alone. Now, you think about sellers. Sellers are most likely also going to be buyers, and they hear stories about how competitive it is, how hot the housing market is, and juggling that sale and going on to buy another home when the housing market is moving so quickly is a lot. So unless they really need to downsize, or unless they really need a bigger home, they're holding off and pulling that trigger.
Sophia, give us some help from a buyer's standpoint. What's a good strategy? Because we're hearing that people are waiving inspections. Cash is king. If I want to buy a house, what should I do?
They're waiving way more than inspections. We're at a point in the market now where they're waiving most contingencies in a competitive situation. So this is not a market to go it alone. My first advice is to work with an agent. It's really almost impossible at this point to go it alone when you have 15 offers that you're competing against.
So how do you get to the top of the stack? How do you get to make the sale?
That's sort of the question, right? And what I would say to you is that there's a whole bunch of things we can do as experienced real estate agents when we're making an offer. It's like a menu. Think of it like a menu. You can waive inspection, you can waive financing, you can do all these things. And a good agent puts those menu items together in the appropriate way to win the deal. Let me give you an example. For a lot of sellers, another couple $1,000s is not as important as, say, a quick close with a rent back, because of what Aaron was talking about, where they don't know where they're going yet and they know they have to sell to buy. So to be able to get the cash in their account in 3 weeks and then to live in their house for 60 days, that's more important than maybe the highest financial offer, right? So a good agent is working with the sellers in determining that.
Right. This idea that people are buying homes sight unseen, are you seeing that?
Absolutely, we are. If they know the areas and they know the inventory really well, and they've maybe come for their initial round of interviews and they're relocating here, for instance, they go home. This is the street they want. This is the neighborhood they want. Their agent's FaceTiming them, showing them the street, and there's no reason not to, actually.
Yeah. Aaron, I want to get some perspective on this market. This market is so unaffordable for so many people. Are the values going to keep going up? Because we know more workers are coming to Seattle.
Growth has been driving home values in this region, but it's not just growth, it's supply. So over the next year, we do expect a couple more headwinds. Interest rates are gradually inching upward, and that's going to bite into what home buyers can afford to pay a little bit, particularly at the top of the market. That said, there's still a lot of young adults who are still renting, looking to buy their first home. The demand is still there, and equally important, that supply, home building has remained kind of relatively modest and relatively low. That supply is nowhere near what this market kind of needs to sustain.
Wow.
So.
Okay, we'll hang on for the ride.
It is a ride.
Yeah, Aaron, Via from Zillow, thank you both
Thank
so
you.
much.